Now in a previous video we talked about how everything from the Armory had just became unprofitable, and if we want to look at it today we can see exactly the opposite. Nearly everything is back being profitable, excluding that limited edition Deagle. Now this raises a lot of questions, especially when it comes to investing, because obviously we're trying to make the maximum amount of profit from the Armory as we can. Today we're going to be breaking down each of the collections and my specific best picks inside of it. We're not necessarily going to be making an investment today, because if you want to look at it, the unboxing ROI for something like the Elemental Craft stickers is over 200%, and that means people are going to continuously be unboxing these. Therefore, we're probably going to be seeing a decrease in price for at least a fair amount of these items. Now, when we're talking about making an investment inside of this area, we're obviously very contingent on the idea that these are not going to be around forever. Investing into items that are continuously in the game forever has always been a terrible idea, because the supply coming in is always going to be relatively constant. Therefore, you're definitely banking on the idea Valve is going to remove these at some time, but honestly, with the way everything is set up for the Armory, I don't think that's too out of the question. SkinSwap just went ahead and dropped their biggest update ever. Not only are they sponsoring you with that top link in the description, but they're also introducing backpacks, allowing you to buy any item on the site, and it's going to be personally held for you. Their trading feature is often told to be the best in the business, offering near instant trades taking under 30 seconds right now. And their selling feature is instant as well, offering PayPal, crypto, and tons of different options if you're looking to get your money this second. And finally, they've always got that 40% deposit bonus if you're looking to pick up some brand new skins, so try them out today. There's no reason not to. Now, talking about the biggest area first, that's going to be your collections. Now, we've got three collections. Obviously, we've got the Overpass, the Graphic, and the Sport and Field. Now, coming with these is a lot of investment opportunity. Obviously, we got a bunch of brand new skins, and therefore the investment opportunity should theoretically be off the chart, except it's really not. If we want to talk about it, it's a lot different than what we've seen previously, because there are no gray skins, and unfortunately that really hurts investors. If we want to talk about it previously, gray skins were the #1 area to make a significant amount of profit inside of this area. That's because they were so common inside of this that people would be listing them for 5, 7, 10 cents. I don't think we're going to be able to get down to that price point for these light blue skins, just because that means your covert skins at the top would be relatively cheap. Obviously, it takes a lot of them to trade up to a covert, but significantly less than it takes for the gray skins. Therefore, the gray skins were super cheap. The light blue skins now have the possibility to be relatively cheap, but overall it makes the entire collection system completely different than what we've seen previously, and therefore it's really hard to base off the fact of what price point these are going to be sitting at moving forward. Honestly, I don't think there's necessarily a bad investment here if you can get them at the right price point. A lot of these skins are going to appreciate over time, provided that these collections are removed. I definitely think these are one of the most investable opportunities inside of this area, provided there is actually a decent supply and a decent amount of demand going with this. Just be careful, because obviously we don't know if they're going to be removed, and people are going to keep out grinding these collections because they are the most active way people are spending their stars in the current market. Now, getting to my favorite area, the Elemental Craft stickers. Now, there's a lot of things I want to talk about inside this area, but first I want to start off with the data, and the data definitely shows that the Elemental Craft stickers are extremely in demand. Unfortunately, this is a week or two old, so it's not the most updated, but we can definitely see that people are really interested in using these stickers. These are great application numbers, and overall the fact that people are even using lenticular stickers shows that there's demand at all levels, which is really good when we're talking about an investment opportunity. Now, the biggest piece of information I want to look at is specifically how even these application numbers are nearly all across the board. If we want to look at something like the Hydros, the Hydro Stream, the Hydro Wave, and the Hydro Geyser are all within roughly about 100 applications of each other, but if we want to look at the price points, significantly different. Therefore, that's a huge opportunity that I'm going to be currently looking at. These are the stickers that are significantly cheap but still getting applied a lot. Perfect investment opportunity, and it's not just with these Hydros. You can see the rest of the stickers and their application numbers here. I definitely would say if you're trying to make an investment that's going to be a strong ROI, I would stick with just the blues and the purples. If we're talking about the foils and the lenticulars, they're a little too expensive. I don't think you're going to be getting a great return on those, but if we can definitely see some strong application numbers keep up inside of this area like they are right now, I think this is going to be a great opportunity, especially when the price point gets cheaper. Talking about it, these are probably going to get cheaper price points just because the ROI is so high on these right now. I definitely am not making an investment today inside of this area, but I'm extremely excited moving forward for these stickers. There's a lot of opportunity, and I'm definitely here for it. Now, getting into our charms for a little bit, talking about those missing link charms. Inside this area is a lot of questions for me. If we want to talk about it specifically, I feel like the other charms have got a lot more interest in the recent market, even though the missing link charms started off really hot. Obviously, we've got a ton of different color variations, as you can see in the background right here, but I think overall people have kind of gotten a little bit tired of them already, which is really concerning when we're talking about an investment. The biggest problem for me inside this area is the fact that obviously charms are not deleted. If you want to look at it, for absolutely free, because you can get it as a drop item, you can get a charmed attachment pack and get charms right off your weapon. I don't think necessarily these have a ton of strong potential, especially when we look at the price point. Talking about these inside the areas, the reds, the pinks, and the purples are all uninvestable, because I think the opportunity cost is just way too high inside of this area. No one really wants these, and honestly, I just don't think they're worth the price point. Talking about the blues, there's a lot of them, but they really kind of fall short inside of this area. Most of them are relatively basic, and overall, they just don't garner enough interest for them them to be a very strong investment in my personal opinion. A lot of these I really struggle with making a strong investment opportunity because I just don't think they have the long-term demand, especially based off what we're seeing right now. Now, talking about our character craft stickers, these ones are definitely a lot more applicable when we're talking about long-term applications in my personal opinion. A lot of these really have cool opportunities because of the way that they scrape down, and that creates so much craft potential inside this area. With that being said, obviously looking at our application numbers, they're definitely not the most insane when it comes to applications, but I think they're still strong. Honestly, we're not looking for anything that's too crazy, but I just definitely think they could be a little bit stronger inside of this area. Previously, we talked about how the elemental was all relatively similar in terms of application numbers. Completely different story when we're talking about the character craft stickers. There are a lot of losers here, especially something like the lefty, the CT, and the T. These are stickers I'm completely avoiding. Even though at such a cheap price point, they are not having any investment opportunity in my personal opinion. And I'm sure you're familiar how in previous videos I talked about during Riptide, every sticker went up in price. But the truth is there's a lot more profit to be made inside of the desirable ones rather than just trying to get everything grouped as a whole, and that's something we're trying to capitalize off of here. The lefty stickers probably would go up in a couple of years if we get these things discontinued, but that's not specifically going to be the best opportunity out there. And finally, for our charms, we've got these small arms charms. Now inside this area, there's a lot of variations that really impact the overall prices, but we're not going to get too deep into that. We're going to be talking generally speaking inside of this area. Personally, I'm also not trying to make too big of an investment into charms in the current moment. That's because we got the Shanghai Major right around the corner, and I think it's very possible we could be getting charms or some new item coming along with that. I think it's going to be stealing a lot of the interest. With that being said, these charms are significantly more affordable when we're talking about an investment purpose. Obviously, we're not looking at the most desirable charms, something like the backsplash or the lil cap, but there's definitely a lot cheaper of a price point for people to get in at these ones compared to the other ones, and that's a very strong opportunity when we're talking about investment. We want cheaper, lower priced items because that means that a lot more people can get into them buying them now, and we can make a lot more of an investment into them. There's not anything I'm too interested into other than the whittle knife. I think it's a really cool opportunity at a super cheap price point, but once again, I'm not making any investments just yet because charms are definitely something that's a little bit too volatile for me to try and to get into. And finally, talking about that limited edition deagle. Now inside of this area, we're not going to be redeeming our stars for it because that's a huge waste. The unboxing ROI is extremely low for using your stars, but talking about an investment purpose, there is an opportunity presented inside this area, specifically talking about the fact that this is going to be discontinued, and it's the only item guaranteed to be discontinued inside of this current lineup. With that being said, we've also known that the market has been flooded with these things, so I definitely say tread very lightly inside of this area, but if you really wanted to make an investment or pick up a couple of these, I wouldn't be completely against it. Just know you're probably going to be losing some money in the short term here. Now, what am I buying right now? The truth is I'm not specifically buying anything too much, but I'm definitely checking out some of these elemental craft stickers. I think the biggest opportunity is held inside of this area, specifically because the ROI is so high. A lot of these prices have the impact to come down, which would be absolutely crazy because I think they're already in such demand at the current prices. I could definitely see a huge investment opportunity if they get a little bit cheaper. Obviously, trust the data and do all that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.